Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Spectrum Drama, where we take a look at the hottest posts on Spectrum for the week and give our opinions on them. So before we get started, you may hear a slight difference in my voice at the moment. I'm not very well, so we're going to muddle through, but please excuse me if I sound like my face is falling off. Haha, fun and joy. But yeah, that is pretty much it. No other announcements, so let's jump straight in. Okay, so first up we've got a post from Witchcraft21 and it says, stabilize player, core medical gameplay, fast track request. So basically the gist of this post is that we need to sort of fast track the core medical gameplay, and there is essentially a plan put forward by Witchcraft21 which would kind of break that down for CIG. So he's given the benefits. I'll read them out real quick. So adding this in will give players a fighting chance to stave off the full spawn reset when that finally comes in. A quicker way to add gameplay mechanics and content, which is apparently something we'd complain about. Not that I remember any of that, you know. CIG devs get earlier insight into how to plan larger gameplay designs. There is a link there which you can go to. That is a YouTube video. So it basically saves other players from dying. That's the important one, you know, because at the moment you just die. That's it. You know, there's no way around it. And obviously permadeath is coming, so this will help out. So there's a simple design which you'll see on the screen now, which I think it makes sense. So basically essentially what this is a player reaches 0 health, which is indicated by some sort of a state to other players. They enter a bleed out time. Let's say he's put here 2 minutes, but they'll need to test that. And then you've got a few options. Either the player's killed by the enemy, the player chooses to give up, or they've had enough damage that it's unsurvivable. If you reach a state where you could be healed, then it administers a prompt for someone else to get their medical device, as he calls it, stabilize the player, and then that player basically needs time to recover somewhere safe. So, you know, you take them back to an Apollo or, you know, a Cutlass Red, put them in a med bed, heal them up. Brilliant. I need this more than anything else, because it would make going into bunkers so much cooler. If like someone gets downed, you drag them behind a box, stabilize them, and then your medic carries them out. How cool is that?
Very cool. And like you say, I think this is something we've actually brought up before.
Yeah,
pretty much almost the same mechanics as well. Yeah, you just need some kind of medical instrument in your utility slot that you can use to stabilize yourself or other people even. And then the same device can then be switched over to healing mode or whatever, and inject them with some healing juice or you know, whatever random kind of lore mechanic you're going to come up with for it. Now we've seen the introduction of body dragging now, so you know, maybe CIG are kind of heading this way anyway. I think they said before on Theatres of War video or Q&A or something at some point, they were saying that they're working on medical gameplay, and it is going to be quite a big deal for Theatres of War as well. So it was kind of on their radar. What exactly they're going to go with, obviously we don't know because they haven't chosen to tell us yet. But you would imagine that they would be going for something similar.
Yeah, I mean, what I want to see, what my ideal medical gameplay, because as everyone knows, you know, that's my thing. I've always been a healer in every game. I want to play medical gameplay. And my ideal situation for medical gameplay in its infancy, in the first stages, would be exactly as he describes it. So, you know, you go into a bunker, you know, one of your friends gets shot to the point where they are down. They're in their downed state. And then your medic, who is a fully fledged part of your team, shooting bitches, but his role is if anyone's downed, he gets them to safety, he stabilizes them, and then there's one of two ways, and one way I prefer, one way I don't. The first and easiest way is that, he has some sort of a med pen that he can stab in them, get them back up and on their feet and fighting. I don't really like that, because I think if you've been put into a state where you're downed, you need to be stabilised, you shouldn't be entering combat straight away, I think.
No.
So the preferred sort of method for me would be then for him to use body dragging to... actually, they need a second state of that as well. They need body carrying.
Yes.
So that you can, over the shoulder, fireman's lift them, up the elevator, out to the Cutlass Red or whatever ship you've got, stick them in a bed, hook them up, and then you go back into the fight. And it's that kind of that's what I want to see. But I know we're a ways off that, but I do think that is something that they could probably get out, like he says, reasonably quick. And if they fast track that into the game, it would give a sense of, I don't know, for players who want to play properly, it would give them a sense of danger, because there is an element of risk, to being shot in the face, but also you can be saved. Whereas at the moment, if you get shot and you're just on the floor and you think, well, this is a waste, you just backspace and die, and you're like, because there's no, I don't know, there's no consequences. And I imagine this would give more role play elements to the game. I don't know, that's my hope.
Yeah, it would give more role play. Like you say, there's no real risk at the moment until some of the other systems come in, like the physicalized inventories and stuff like that. Until that actually comes in, there is really no risk to dying. Most people, if you get them stuck or severely injured by trying to get into your ship, you just backspace, job done. But I think like a little tool to stabilize downed people shouldn't be overly difficult to add in.
No.
I would imagine from a coding point, asset wise is a piece of piss. Coding wise might be a little bit tricky, but I think they're knowledgeable enough to come up with something that would work. The problem is, I don't think keeps coming back to this argument of this kind of contradiction within CIG, where they say they don't want to keep doing things over and over again. As new things come online, they have to redo a feature. So they wouldn't necessarily want to put a tool into the game that might not get used later down the line. But then, the contradiction to that is that we've seen plenty of times where they add stuff into the game for ease of use, which won't necessarily be used later down the line. That kind of statement that they come out with seems to get picked and choosed when they like it. But some kind of stabilization tool should be quite simple to implement, and then they can work on the more intricate elements of medical gameplay further down the line. But for now, all we really need is some kind of way to stabilize downed players, and the ability to stab them with a med pin.
It's the very basic fundamentals of medical gameplay, and it would do for now. And exactly like you say. I mean, even if that does get them back into the fight, that's fine for now. Because if you're a team of 3 or 4 people in a bunker, having that ability to replenish your team using your skills is a cool thing. But also, everyone's moaning that they're just, you've got these ships, you've got these roles, these classes, we'll call them, of people who want to do a certain thing, and the gameplay elements for that are not there. But I think medical gameplay is there. It's just, they just need to do a couple of things to make it viable. And I don't, like you said, it doesn't seem like that much work. And I mean, again, I'm speaking as a layman. I don't know how to make a game, and if I did, I'd be making a game. But it just seems like it's something that they could do, and I think if they did, there'd be a lot of happy customers out there. I completely agree. As to your grand vision of medical gameplay, I think that's pretty much what they're heading for. There was even talk about kind of hover stretcher beds to carry people on back to medical facilities, which is going to be cool when they eventually get to there. But
yeah, that's going to take a lot more effort to actually put into the game than just a little multi-tool to shoot your friend with to stabilise.
Yeah, and what I want to see in the interim is an old-fashioned medical bed, which you kind of like, it's like which it raises up on little caster wheels, and you've got to try and drag that over a moon. It'd be hilarious.
Trying to dodge all the rocks. Yeah.
Cool. So next up, we've got a post from Calrex, and it says why Port Olisar should return as a spawn. So basically, in recent patches, Port Olisar has been removed from the selection of spawn locations, and this is why Calrex believes that it should come back. So number one, it's the best place for new players to start. You get up, you're led downstairs, and you get your ship from a terminal. Simple. Trying to find your way around a big city as a new player sounds cool, but when you've been running around for 20 minutes frustrated because you don't know what's happening and you're lagging, and then you get stuck in a train and it's not a great experience, that can hinder new players. And performance-wise, PO was a lot smaller. It generally had higher frame rates than the big cities, so it's kind of the perfect breeding ground for new players to start at, to kind of get their space legs, before going off into the big wide world and seeing these giant cities. And not only that, my personal opinion is that experience of going from this tiny place in space, going, this is cool, and then flying up to somewhere like ArcCorp and then seeing that come in for the first time from space and then heading down towards it, that's such a better experience than coming away from it like you've always lived there. Do you know what I mean? That's my personal opinion. What do you think? What do you think?
I'm on kind of two minds on this one. I can see all of his points, completely see every single point he's got there. And we even proved one of them when we got our friend who has never played Star Citizen before. And we got him to jump on the game and try it. And he was running around Lawville for about half an hour, I think it was.
Trying
to find a way out.
Actually. Put a card in the top right if you want to watch that video, Noobs in Space. It's hilarious.
Yeah, so we actually scienced that point and can confirm that major cities are a pain in the arse for new players. That being said, should we have Port Olisar back? I'm not so sure. I kind of see why they've moved the spawns to the major cities, because they actually want people to go there. Before, when everyone spawned at Port Olisar, no one went to them. The thing would get released in a patch. You'd fly down there, have a look, and go, yeah, that's cool, and then never go back there again. Most people, anyway. So to get more people visiting these places, I can see why they would move the spawn points there. The other issue, well, one of the main issues, I guess, with Port Olisar being the spawn point was just the volume of people. There was constant problems with trying to get your ships out. All the pads were taken, whatever. Pad rammers ramming everything, especially new players who don't really know how to fly yet, just careening their ships into everything. I mean, like I say, I can see both points. I see his points and can confirm, but at the same time, I'm not sure Port Olisar should be. I mean, technically, yes, it used to be the main spawn hub for us, but essentially it's just a space station like any of the other big ones we've got at the moment. Really. And you can't spawn at them, so why should you spawn at Port Olisar?
Maybe they need to make it like when you go skiing, like a nursery slope. So you can only spawn very small ships there. Like literally, you can only spawn like anything up to the size of like a Hornet or something.
Like a shuttle,
so, essentially. So most players who log in can only really get their baby ships out there, like Auroras and stuff, nothing sort of sizable. And I don't know how they would police it, but if you make it so that there's no real point to go there as a grown-up Star Citizener, but maybe it's kind of just the gentle nudge into space that new players need, and then once they become familiar with the game, Yeah, I don't know how you'd force them then to spawn elsewhere. The only way you'd do that is if you had levels.
Yeah, the only problem with having new players, if how do you define a new player? If people want to spawn there, they just say I'm a new player and spawn there. The other issue is that if you did find a way for new players to spawn there only, you're going to get some idiot, in a saber, just flying around Port Olisar shooting new players on site because it's fun or some shit.
And they're bored because there's no gameplay loops.
There's definitely people that would kind of do that kind of thing, and that might even give new players a worse experience than getting lost in a big city. Yeah,
it's essentially like spawn camping. It would happen. I mean, I think what we need to look at now is that we're 7 years into this game. Port Olisar was around for a very long time, and it worked perfectly for a long time until this game got big enough that there was enough players entering a server, and it do you know what I mean? It got to the point where if you did have 30 people at Port Olisar all trying to get ships out at the same time, didn't work. And we're at that point now where we've got these huge cities. Why you wouldn't use them, I don't know. I know that people don't like the run around in there. Maybe what they need to do is make it more clear, either with some form of I don't know, maybe they just need to have, like they have in hospitals, they just have certain coloured lines on the floor. And, you know that if you follow the yellow line, it's going to take you to your ship. It's...
Some areas do have that.
It's true.
So, maybe their signage just isn't visible enough to the average player. And maybe they just need to up their signage game a bit.
I think that's it. I think they just need to kind of make it a bit clearer for new players where they need to go and how to get there. And then, because you'll see it in our video when our noob runs around Lawville, and he gets to the train station and he's kind of like looking at the platforms thinking, what? Where? Why? It was funny for us. We were pissing ourselves, but obviously it's frustrating for him because he just doesn't know where to go. So I see all the points are valid, but I do agree with you that I think that we're too far along now to need Port Olisar anymore. We need to utilize the bigger cities that we've got, because in reality that's what most people would use. I think. Okay, so next up we've got a post from Joe Run, and it says Chris Roberts makes a surprise Spectrum appearance. So you guys probably would have seen this, that last week there was a post about the atmospheric room system by Kamural, and it was basically along the lines of where is this? Why is it not here? Where is it? And Chris Roberts came on and did a very long post. And it was a very good post. I mean, he's got away with words, and it did work. I think it gave us all an indication of what's going on. But it was that usual, this is my personal opinion, that usual CIG line, which is where they kind of tell you something, but it doesn't really give you much information.
100%.
But you feel like they've done something, but in reality they haven't. It's very strange. It's like a spell. It's like some, Expelliarmus or something, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, he said something. But basically, Joe Run is a self-proclaimed White Knight. So I'm not being mean to Joe Run. He literally says it in the post. He is one of the last White Knights. You're not one of the last White Knights, Joe Run.
No, you're not.
Just the only one who's saying something at the moment, because let's face it, the rest of us are so angry that it's just safer for White Knights to hide at the minute. His kind of point is that Chris Roberts made this surprise appearance, and it does make a big difference. And he points that out, that's what all the old backers want. They want to see a familiar face, someone they respect and appreciate, And what he's saying is that some small investments in time by these people would go a long way, essentially, to giving us what we want. I think that's just it enough. Do you think that sums up what you're saying?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the basis of it. He's going for the same line that we've all been saying for months of we want some more communication from CIG, but he's doing it in the White Knight version, whereas we'd like to stick to our nicely grey version.
Yeah, our Dark Knight version.
A Dark Knight, yeah.
Yeah. I'm Batman. Oh, I shouldn't have done that.
It's funny that this post is the post from Chris Roberts. Well, not the post, the reply from Chris Roberts.
Yeah.
It's kind of brought out you got two extreme camps going on. You've got this is the the God post of CIG, and it's made everything all right.
Yeah.
And you've got the other side, which is saying, is it even Chris Roberts that posted that?
Yeah.
It could be someone else using his account, which I don't believe.
Conspiracies.
I'll just put that out there. I don't believe that at all. But yeah, you got these two sort of polar opposite camps coming in on this topic, and you can kind of see that in the comments section. Well, the comments on Joran's post that aren't just like trying to take the piss out of him. You can kind of see that you got these two camps going on. It's quite interesting. Personally, I like that Chris Roberts came back on this post. I think that Cameron kind of deserved the response that he got. I think he was getting a bit rude. And I'm quite glad that Chris Roberts actually came out and slapped him back down a bit, because it was getting a bit nasty. Not nasty, but it was getting a bit disrespectful, let's say.
Yeah, it was very passive aggressive.
Yeah, it was
bordering on just aggressive.
Yeah, it was along the lines of, I like that you replied, but I don't accept what you're saying, which was kind of just bollocks, really. But going back to what you were talking about at the beginning there, it was kind of like one of the magic spell responses, rather. I keep saying post, it's not a post, it was a response.
No. Yeah.
It was like a magic response. And when you read through the reply, it all makes sense, and it lines up perfectly with the vision that we're all believing was happening anyway.
Yeah.
There wasn't any new information in there. It wasn't anything that we hadn't heard before.
No.
Do you know what I mean? But it had this kind of magical effect on the community where everyone went, oh, okay, yeah, we're all happy again now.
Yeah. This is like, this is the equivalent of the new medical stabilize pen, or whatever you want to call it. Because all of the backers were essentially in a down state.
We're all
with
down.
This game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's come along and he's just used his magic device and stabilized us. We're not healed yet. We are far from healed, but we are stabilized. And that is the effect Chris Roberts has on the community. And I think he doesn't, I don't think he quite realizes that. And I think maybe he does now.
Maybe he does now.
Yeah, I hope he does, because he is one of the main reasons the majority of people back this game. Newer backers maybe not, maybe they don't even know who Chris Roberts is. They just see this bandwagon and they think that's pretty cool. I want to get on that. But a lot of the majority of the older backers back this game because they knew who Chris Roberts was, they knew what he's done in the past, what kind of person he was, and where we thought he would take this game. So he has a lot of power over his backers. And yeah, that's why I think that this post was a double-edged sword, because it was nice to hear from him, and everyone's moaned that we haven't heard from him, and all of a sudden, boop, he pops up on the most random post. But like you said, it didn't give us anything new, and I don't think it went anywhere near close enough to repairing what's gone on in the past few months. Do you know what I mean? Or few years, we'll call it. It's just again, it's like a salve that he spread over the wound, you know. And I don't think that it's quite good enough. But I like that the fact that we've got something from him, and you know, as we said, we have utmost respect for this bloke. All the people saying that they don't think that it's Chris Roberts, read it again, because you can literally hear his voice when you read this post. It is definitely him, 100%. You can hear it in the way it's typed. It's just, it's definitely him.
You can see the hands going, can't you?
Yeah. It's the company line though. That's the problem, because if he'd have posted this post 5 years ago, he would have just told us everything we wanted to know. But we've got the company line now, which is essentially they're such a big company. They've got departments now that probably filter what they're allowed to say and figure out, what is going to be good for them, what is going to be harmful. And so they have to be careful what they say. And I think even Chris Roberts has some sort of a filter over the things he's allowed to type about, because this is a big property now. And so, I don't buy that it's enough, like the White Knights are making it out to be. But it's very, very nice to hear from him.
Yeah, completely. Completely agree. It's not the God post that we wanted, but
no.
it does go a long way to see some kind of interaction from Chris and CIG in general. We've actually seen a big uptick in devs responding to posts in Spectrum over the last couple of weeks, and it's really good to see this kind of communication coming out, especially after the last 6 months where we've had really fuck all of anything. But this is a good start, and I'm glad he's decided now to actually step back up and answer some of the questions, and that kind of leads us on to the next post as well.
It does. So the final post that we've got for the evening is actually from Christopher Roberts, aka CROB ERTS 68. This is Chris Roberts, and it's a strange one because I nearly fell off my chair when I saw this bright yellow post. Why do they have to be yellow? Fancy.
Golden.
How dare they?
Yeah, I suppose.
Golden, yeah, the God post again. But basically, ask the chairman. So I'm going to read this one out because, why not? Hi, everyone. I spend a fair amount of time reading community. This is my Chris Roberts impression, by the way. No, it's not really. I spend a fair amount of time reading community discussions and feedback, but I shy away from engaging as it can become a full-time job, one that I don't have available time for, as running a company of 630 people spread around the globe while directing 2 products. Or products?
Well, yeah, technically
products, yeah. Already takes more than 40 hours a week, which it should, the amount of money you earn, especially as we now have to over-communicate internally as almost everyone is working from home. Bullshit. Everyone's available 24 hours a day. That shouldn't be a problem. But once in a while reading something on Spectrum, I get the itch to share some context and information. I've run out of energy to read the rest of this, but basically, this is about his post. So he essentially said that he had an itch to jump on and comment. He didn't particularly sort of or specifically pick a post to answer. He read that and went, okay, and he just jumped on and answered.
He got a bit triggered by it.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. I mean, we all have those moments where we just think, no, I want to go on, I want to say something about this because I've got an opinion. But basically, what this has led to is that they are now going to do an Ask the Chairman, where someone can ask a question in this thread, and the most upvoted question he will answer in detail, kind of like he did before. So a few rules for this particular Ask the Chairman. No questions on timelines or schedules. God forbid we ask them what's going on. When the revised roadmap is ready, that will be the best place to see what we are currently estimate. And by the way, estimate doesn't equal promise.
No, it doesn't.
Add as much detail to the question, but do not ask multiple questions. Focus on systems that exist or they've said they plan to build. Basically, don't ask about things that are kind of theory crafting or blue sky type thinking. They're just, things that we know are coming. And be respectful, which I think is fair, because let's face it, we have kind of all lost a tiny bit of our respectful approach in Spectrum recently. I think that's fair. I think maybe this is the first step to giving us what we've been asking for, which is a little bit more of a back and forth between us, the backers, and CIG. What do you think? Or do you think this is, again, just another Band-Aid?
No, I don't think it's a Band-Aid. I think it's a good thing. Back in the day, many a year ago, there used to be a video coming out called 10 for the Chairman, where he would do 10 questions. And he then just kiboshed that whole series for reasons. And now we're back to doing one, which is okay. I mean, one's better than none, so cool. I can get behind this. If this becomes a regular thing, fantastic. If this is a one-off question, maybe Band-Aid.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. If this is just a one-off thing to kind of, again, it's that whole, look at the monkey, look at the silly monkey, it's to distract us, then that's actually going to make things worse. But if they can make this a regular thing, I think this is a brilliant idea, and it's what people need. We need to be able to say what's happening with this, and then someone comes back and says, this is what's happening with this. The problem is that we can't ask them. They're gonna make this to the point where we can ask them a question like, will salvage have this particular function? But we can't say to them, when is salvage going to happen?
No.
That's what people want to know. They don't really. There's going to be more questions of people just saying, well, I've bought this ship, where's my Taurus?
Well,
these are the questions people are going to want to know. So, they've already cut those people out. Yeah,
I mean, asking him, when is feature X going to be out, is kind of a wasted question.
It is.
Yeah. Even if he did give a timeline to it, that timeline is not going to be correct. So why ask? I'm happy to wait to see what this new roadmap brings out. If it even gives us anything. I'm not really convinced it's going to change much, but I can wait for the roadmap to have a look at the whens and the schedules, the promises. No, not the promises. The estimates. I get those two mixed up. Again, I can also see why he said don't throw theory crafting questions in there, because they do have a massive backlog. And we do not need them to add extra ideas to that backlog.
No.
Let's get what the features they promised first, and then we'll look at new funky stuff. But even there's 4 simple rules that he stated in this, this ask me a question post.
Yeah.
4 rules, and there's still people posting questions that are breaking the rules. Yeah. I don't understand how people cannot read these rules properly. There's 4 of them. It's not hard.
No, but there's 4 of them. That's like at least 2 more than 2. I don't know. People are just daft. People are daft. I mean, there's posts here where people. I don't know what people think is going to happen. Right? Chris Roberts isn't reading these. He's not reading every post. All that's going to happen is once this is done, they will just pick the highest voted, and then Chris Roberts will read it, and that's it. And people are like posting these long messages like, oh, Chris Roberts, I'm so glad you're about, and here's my opinion on this thing and stuff. And it's like, what a waste.
Yep.
Just put a question in that you think he'll answer.
And leave it.
I don't get it. So the most upvoted at the moment is from Rain Walker. And it says, how is the dynamic economy shaping up, and is server meshing an essential requirement before Qantas shows up?
Technically 2 questions. So
it is technically. I mean, they are related.
They're related, but it's 2 questions.
So he says, add as much detail to the question, but do not make it multiple questions about different topics. So technically, he can get away with that question, I suppose. And I quite like that question, actually. I like the idea that it is something that we've seen recent-ish at CitizenCon, and he's asking a deeper question. Does one mechanic affect the other? So it's quite a good question. But I just think that there are much more important things that could be asked. But I like the fact, again, that this is going to be picked by the community. So he asks a question, and if enough people like that idea, they'll upvote it. So it's a good way of doing it, I think.
But I think, I'm not so sure the community is the best place to go. I don't know. We've seen this a few times on new ship Q&As, where some of the questions get upvoted, and you're like, why did you upvote that question? Of all the things, you upvoted that. So we'll see if, I agree with you. I don't think the dynamic economy is the most pressing issue to get a response on right now. But then again, hopefully this kind of thing with Chris Roberts becomes a regular thing, and we can get a bunch of answers rather than just one random question that ends up to be kind of useless.
I hope this is a regular thing, because if this is the one and only chance we get to ask Chris Roberts a proper question, and that's the question we use, that would be a shame, basically. But again, I mean, I like the idea of it. I like what he's doing. I wish that he would. Again, this is a very simplified way of quietening us. Quietening. Yeah, I'm so confused tonight. I'm very ill. Quietening the masses by coming out and saying something, and like we said earlier, everyone respects Chris Roberts, and so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt that this is him trying to make amends for the lack of communication, and maybe he just wasn't aware how annoyed everyone was until he went on Spectrum and made a post, and then everyone went, "Fuck me, you're alive."
He's aware.
Yeah, he's aware. He's not a stupid man. But yeah, so and he says here, this bugs me, and also I agree in the same. It's this being on Spectrum is like being schizophrenic. It annoys me. And I should mention that the real heroes here are the devs, and then he lists all them who spend a significant time answering community questions. They're all extremely busy, yet they take additional time beyond their normal work hours to answer questions for you all, which is brilliant. And again, we appreciate that a millionfold, because like we've said lately, there has been a bigger uptick in devs coming on and answering questions. Again, they're always the easy questions, because all the hard questions get banned by the moderators, who are they're not the heroes, let's put it that way. They are the villains. But what I think that they probably again need to do is take a look at this and say, all right, these people are putting in a lot of hours to answer questions. Why can't we dedicate a small amount of time for them to actually come on and take their time answering questions, rather than it being one of those things where they feel obliged to do it in their own time? Do you know what I mean?
They have been putting out a couple of kind of like Ask Me Anythings, more kind of focused questions. They'll get a dev on, and they'll just answer as many questions on a topic as they can. So whether that's within normal work hours or on their weekends, we don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
I've not really paid that much attention to it to consider that, actually, but they have been kind of doing certain things like that, and I think it's a good direction change for them.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, I think this is a good first step towards what we've been asking for almost a year now, that they just communicate with us more. And hopefully this is moving in the right direction, and we're going to get some answers to some of the questions that we've had for a very long time. So can only be a good thing.
CIG's involvement on Spectrum has just massively improved over the last couple of weeks, and I really hope that they just carry on with it. The only thing I would like to see now from them is some kind of increase in video content. There's been a few estimates running around of how much subscriber money they've been getting, and I think that the estimate was around 5 million a year now. And I, for one, don't feel like we get $5 million worth of video content a year.
No, couple of thousand at the most.
Yeah. If they could just, I don't know, get even one more video during the week out for us. It could even be lore based, kind of like what they did with Lawmaker's Guide to the Galaxy, but not just covering the planets in the game. Covering all aspects. Ship manufacturers, presidential candidates, outlaw gang leaders, anything. Just one more informative video during the week, I think would also go a long way to satisfying not only the subscribers but backers in general.
Yeah, 100%. And I tell you what, here is our pledge to CIG. CIG, I hope that someone out there from CIG watches every video about everything CIG on the internet, which means you watch one of our videos. If you watch this video, then we are offering our services for free. So if you send us some information that you want to discuss, we will put together a free video for you with all the content and all the stuff collected from ourselves. We'll do it all ourselves. You don't have to pay us a penny, and we'll put it out to everyone for free. So you don't even have to spend money. We'll do it for free.
Yeah, hang on a minute.
Want to see more content. Did I just give away our services for free? Yes, we'll do it for free. Or maybe for biscuits. I don't know. I like biscuits. But yeah, we need some content. We do need some more content. And that would be the only way I could see them to doing it. I don't want to say for free, but the most cost-effective way would be to filter out some of your information to some YouTubers and let them run with it.
They don't even need to do that. They've got a whole video department. They just
have they? They?
That's what they keep telling us.
Yeah. I don't know. That department. It floors me. It floors me every time when I see their videos. And again, I mean, don't get me wrong. We like that they put some content out, but we have complained a long time that we need more content. If they've got a whole team that's dedicated to that, I don't get it. I don't get how they can't put out something that will quench the thirst of the backers, rather than all this kind of like fluff pieces, which is essentially what they do now. It's kind of their bread and butter. Occasionally we get a tiny snippet of information, but that snippet is 30 seconds long, and then it's buried under a plushie doll or some whatever the fuck it's called, So yeah, I think that needs an overhaul. CIG, but again for free and biscuits.
Biscuits.
Yeah, I'll do anything for biscuits. But yeah, so put some more content out, CIG, and give your subscribers what they're paying for. Okay, so there you have it, folks. That is all the posts for this week. We hope you liked them. We hope you found them informative or amusing. If you did like them, then don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more Star Citizen content. And if you want to jump into that comment section and let us know your opinions on the topics that we've covered this evening, definitely do. We do love to read them. We will occasionally respond, and jump into our Discord if you want some deeper chats about this kind of stuff, because we're always on there chatting about something. So join our Discord. Also, there's plenty of options on there as well if you're on our Discord to play with us. We play all sorts of games. So jump on. But I think that is pretty much it for this week. So thanks everyone very, very much for watching. We'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.